Hey, what's up? Zach Attack here. Excited for All Elite Wrestling to bring Dynamite to the Indiana Farmers Coliseum at the Indiana State Fairgrounds tomorrow night, Wednesday night, April 17th, as it is going to be a live edition of AEW Dynamite. Tickets still available at AEWTIX.com. And joining me right now, one of the stars of All Elite Wrestling. She's going to be featured in one of the big matches coming up tomorrow night during that Dynamite taping. She is the one, the only, Willow Nightingale. Hello, Willow. How you doing today?
Doing good. Very excited to chat with you.
Well, I'm excited for you guys being in town. AEW Dynamite tomorrow night in Indy, and you've got a big match. So let's talk about that. Mixed tag. You get to team with Adam Copeland. How awesome is that?
It's really, really cool for me. I watched him on TV when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure, when I very first started watching wrestling, there was a very big storyline that involved him that really roped me into being a fan. So seeing the birth of him becoming the rated R superstar, and now I get to work with him and hopefully show that I can, while I'm, a little bit more rated G, I can hang with him,
Maybe the two of you together could be rated PG-13 or something like that.
Yeah,
kind of
maybe
balance
we
each
could
other
find
out.
a little middle ground like that. That would be cool.
How cool is that for you, though, to get the opportunity to do things like that, to work with the Adam Copelands of the world and some of the other big stars you've had the opportunity to be in the ring with? Did you ever imagine you'd be able to reach those types of heights in your career?
If you were to ask me 2 years ago if I would be doing any of this, even something that at this point is super regular for me, which is just wrestling on TBS and TNT regularly, that would have seemed insane. So to now add the fact that I'm wrestling on television weekly and I get to work with idols, people that I really appreciate and admire, it's surreal. It's very surreal, but cool. I wouldn't change it at all for the world.
And this is obviously a very fun time for women's sports in general. Here in Indiana, the Fever took Caitlin Clark #1 in the WNBA draft last night.
I did hear.
Right. And, in AEW, they just signed Mercedes Moné, who I know you've got some history with, but it's a good time for, the spotlight on the women's division. How does it feel for you getting to be in such a marquee spot, in such a prominent spot at this time in AEW's women's division?
It's very affirming, because for me, when I started training to wrestle, there was more opportunities than in the past, obviously, and I have to be grateful for the people who laid the groundwork for us to be able to do that. But I really got to watch women's wrestling blossom as something that could be the main event throughout my career. And here I am now. We have someone on our roster who I think had a big hand in helping that even happen on a big stage. So got to be grateful for that. This week we've got Deanna and Mariah wrestling each other tomorrow. And we have a pay-per-view coming up as well that'll have 2 women's matches on it, with myself versus Julia Hart and Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa. And so it's very exciting to be able to see women at the forefront, putting on the best shows possible, and to be a part of that is a great honor.
And you still have the opportunity to travel the world. I think one of the things I love about AEW is they allow you guys the opportunity to do things outside necessarily of the AEW bubble. I know you recently had a chance to go down to Mexico to wrestle in CMLL. What was that experience like, getting a chance to represent AEW, but still to travel internationally and do some special shows like that in CMLL?
I mean, I've been talking about how fortunate I feel this whole time, but that was really another thing that I was really honored to be a part of, because as far as our partnership goes, that was the first time that AEW talent went down to CMLL, and I got to do that alongside the BCC Blackpool Combat Club. So I have, again, people who I truly admire. You're looking at John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Matt Sydal as well. And I was the first woman to go and put the stamp of this is AEW, this is who we are. So I'll be able to carry that memory with me for the rest of my life. I stayed the whole weekend, and that crowd is like nothing else. So I hope Indianapolis can show out just as much as they did at Arena Mexico. I'm challenging you guys.
Hopefully we'll be able to accept the challenge. I've been to AEW in Indy before. I always love when I get a chance to check out AEW live. I've been to AEW in Indy and Chicago. Always great, entertaining crowds. I could talk forever about the AEW experience on my end. I want to get your perspective. What is it to you that makes AEW something special that fans should come out and attend tomorrow night in Indianapolis?
So as much as we are focused on leaving the best possible impression on fans and making sure they go home having a great time, every single person on the roster, every person working on the crew and in the back, I think is working towards that singular goal. But we're also having a great time while doing it. We are all truly passionate about what we do. Even our boss is all passionate about making sure that everyone's having a good time. Everyone in the arena, like the person in the furthest nosebleed seat, the person in the front row, we really want to have that shared experience of just like walking away and being like, wow, that was magical. So that I think is truly what makes the heartbeat of AEW keep going.
My niece, who is 12 years old, is a big fan of yours. And she loves it whenever you pop up on TV when we get a chance to watch wrestling together. What does that mean for you to hear things like that, that you are a role model that little girls look up to, that you inspire them and you help kind of pull them into this world of wrestling? What does that mean for you to hear that you're the type of person that they look up to and are a role model to?
I mean, you can't see it because we're chatting, but I just, when you first brought it up, a huge smile like swept across my face. When I first started wrestling, I don't think that was ever my intention necessarily. I started wrestling because it was something I wanted to do for myself. I loved it. And over the past couple of years, I have realized that I leave an impact on the generation of women, kids, whoever really, that is watching me. And I have realized that I kind of stepped into this role model position. And I don't take that lightly. It means a lot to me. And I hope to keep fulfilling like this role that's bestowed upon me and like teaching positivity and like, obviously life isn't always going to go your way. That's kind of like the core of what wrestling is. We're going through physical struggle and obstacles. And whether that's win or lose, you have to be able to collect yourself and find a way to keep moving forward. And for me, I do that with a smile on my face. And that's what I hope I can teach younger generations. And also just loving who you are, so it does mean a lot. And I don't take it lightly. And please send my love to your 12-year-old niece.
I will certainly do that. You say that I can't see your smile. I can definitely see your smile because I don't think I've ever see you without a smile. And how do you do that? How do you stay so positive all the time? Because literally every time I see you on TV, see pictures of you on social media, like you're not grinning ear to ear. Like how do you stay so positive?
I really do have to thank my mom and dad for that because they've raised me in a household where it's easier to find strength in one another and like just truck through things than to cry over spilt milk. Really, I guess that's where it comes from. But as I kind of dissect it more recently in my life, I think the world is a scary place. There's a lot of like despair, not to get, depressing, but there is a lot of like doom and gloom out there. And I could let that consume me. But the only power that I personally feel I have to kind of put an end to that is have that stop with me and move forward and try to spread a little bit of light whenever I can, because I know the world weighs down on all of us. But if I could even do just a little bit to help make someone else's day better, then that's me fighting back. That's me saying, things can be good.
We've talked a lot about, things you've been doing, some of the incredible things that you've accomplished so far. What are some of the things still on the table for Willow Nightingale? What are some of the things that you still would like to do that you haven't done yet in your wrestling career?
So as far as wrestling for AEW, I still have not won a championship.
Hopefully Sunday.
So hopefully Sunday, fingers crossed. That's a big, personal, benchmark that I feel I have to hit. I've been fortunate to wrestle internationally, but we have our big show All In at Wembley coming up in August. I wasn't able to perform last year, so to be able to wrestle there would be a huge honor. But just thinking into the next year or so, those are the things I'd really like to accomplish, and just continuing to uphold women's wrestling, leave a good impression on younger generations, and maintaining where I'm at right now, and then just a little bit more.
So one more time, tomorrow night in Indy, you get to team with Adam Copeland against Brody King and Julia Hart. Why should fans come out and check out the AEW experience in Indy tomorrow night?
Because you get a little bit of everything. You get the smiles and the sunshine from me. You're gonna get a hard-hitting aggression all across the board from everybody. But you're going to see all different types of characters. You'll see yourself reflected in some way or another in one of those people. And every single one of those people that you see, whether you relate to them, whether you love them or you hate them, they're going to make you feel something. And hopefully that's as magical for you as it is for me and all of us at AEW.
I am a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. I've grown up watching it. I do ring announcing here locally once a month for a local wrestling show. So there's nothing better on the planet than pro wrestling, and AEW really is where the best wrestle. I know you guys have been using that catchphrase a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night in Indy. Looking forward to the pay-per-view on Sunday. Hopefully I'll be watching you win a title on Sunday. Have a good week, Willow. Thank you for taking a few minutes to talk to me because I know you're super busy this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've had a good time.